Wonder Bread says also Kanye and his boy are on Infowars right now. Yeah, I saw that he's also like now mad at Milo and is like dissing him. Let me know if we should play that. I don't even know. Like, I heard him do some voice. It might be very bad. It's very bad. He says I like Hitler a million times.
It's so bad that Alex Jones, because obviously Alex Jones is now very worried that he's going to keep losing more money, is trying to toe the line of tamping down his own anti-Semitism while not losing it completely. So Jones is basically being like, well, you don't like Hitler, you're not a Nazi. But he's like, but there is obviously a Jewish mafia. And Kanye's like, no, I like Hitler. Like, no, let's be clear.
He brought a prop with like puppet strings,
a bottle of Yoo-hoo and a fly swatter that he's calling Netanyahu, and he's pretending to be Netanyahu.
So like there's a net and then Yahoo. Okay, that's crazy.
Did he learn the guy's name last week? So
that's old Kanye joke. Yeah. That's like a line from Graduation.
It's like a college dropout skit.
Imagine if you fell into a coma in like September 30th of like 2007. You were like a big Kanye fan. You just woke up like 15 years later. Like that would just be like wild.
It would be.
Hey, Kanye's on Infowars. What's
Infowars? I mean, it's wild now with the context that we all have. It's still wild to me.
If you were told Kanye was on Infowars in 2010, you'd probably be thinking, "Oh, cool, they're talking about aliens."
Yeah, and how George Bush hates black people or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, did you realize that you were a champion? Like parentheses of white rights is not like what people were thinking that song was about.
Yeah.
Kanye's also doing the whole Hitler did good things for, I think he mentioned both highways and microphones. And
he's really spending time with Candace.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about the microphones thing. But I will say about the Autobahn, which Hitler often gets credited for. Those actual plans were by the social democrats and left of Germany and picked up by Hitler, sort of like by state making. So it wasn't even really his baby. He just got power at a time where you could pave highways.
Frankly, what Nazi besides Hitler has ever partnered so successfully with high-end fashion brands besides, I guess, Kanye now? So it's a small world.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine Kanye's aesthetic of it is more just like their uniforms, right? I mean, that's what his fashion shows look like anyway. Force the Toke says Israel killed RFK and JFK is what Fuentes just said on Alex Jones.
Yeah, I don't think that's
nope.
I would love to know why you need to get them as the package deal. Like why, if you want to, why are all these outlets just accepting them as the package deal?
Because
and by outlets, I mean Tim Pool Show and Infowars. Why can't you just get?
Yeah,
Kanye?
they're right now Kanye is
he's a vessel. He said it himself.
He's a vessel for anti-Semitism. They're using him because he's a famous face to get on these right-wing platforms and just say what they always want to say about Jewish people. And
right.
he's
So
not mentally well enough to have any sense of what's happening. Right? I mean,
right.
This does not absolve him of insane bigotry and anti-Semitism, but that's clearly the case at this point. And he's never heard no. He hasn't heard no in years.
I would love to know, though, specifically if Kanye is saying, if you want me, these two have to come on, or if they're just letting the two of them on, because they could argue that and I don't agree with this, but they could argue that Kanye was a huge celebrity. And so, that's why we want to have them on. But what is their reasoning for, again, unless this is Kanye's stipulation specifically, why are they also giving a mic to Milo and Fuentes? I mean,
I feel like whenever you see rappers in the studio on Hot 97 doing a freestyle or something, they always got their boys in the back, and that's probably just what Kanye West is probably used to that kind of scenario. So it's just easy to be no, this is my posse right now.
And he's flying them around on his private jet. They there's
you got the money for that still.
That's what is so weird.
Start, tightening your
that's what's weird.
Budget a little
He's
bit.
good. I guess. I mean, I just had my Spotify on shuffle yesterday. Kanye came up, and I was like, when is this getting pulled off?
Did you see the latest?
Spotify,
Did you see the latest?
Maybe, I don't know.
Did you see the latest far right winger turned full blown open anti-Semitic who joined up with the campaign? You guys remember Owen Benjamin?
No.
Oh, flat earther Owen Benjamin.
The one who over a decade ago was actually linked to a relationship with Christina Ricci, and then he gave it all up. Basically, Christina Ricci basically dumped him, and he became an anti-Semite.
Kanye on Alex Jones today said that Owen Benjamin is the guy who wrote all of Chappelle's best work.
Wow. Wow.
Okay.
So speaking of Owen Benjamin,
Interesting.
Yeah, Kanye said one of his biggest influences right now is Owen Benjamin. That Chappelle would not be where he was without Owen Benjamin.
Well, Edit Tone 977 says that Knowledge Fight has a great episode on it, so check that out. I will check that out.
So I was just thinking about poor Kanye West. I mean, I do sort of feel bad for him given his clearly deep mental issues.
I get it, but I think we're beyond that.
I just think about him walking around hallucinating and thinking that Milo is just one of his hallucinations that just happens to share his like anti-Semitic beliefs. And someday maybe he'll get medicated and look and be like, Jesus, that guy was real.
I think he's like very close to being put under a conservatorship. That is my like guess about some of his, paranoid delusions.
Been threatened with one, I think it seems like. I mean, it's
like, yeah.
I understand like the touchiness and kind of what Binder's anxiety about, but I also like clear example is David Bowie did this very similar sort of thing, and then moved on from it. It was like basically a phase that coincided with addiction and mental illness of his own. So like I think it's you can't say like. But you can't pose like a sort of one-to-one relationship with these things, and I do understand the folks who don't want to absolve Kanye from these horrible things he's saying, which is like not new.
Nor do I.
But I also think it is like a context for it.
Yeah, and I think it's not it's in fact damning the white supremacists like Milo and Fuentes who are glomming onto this, but because they are aware that this man is not well, but it's just like he is a famous enough person for them to push the door open and get their Holocaust denial and white supremacy through. Yeah,
I mean it's all just incredibly disgusting, and I don't absolve him of it. I like the thought of him maybe someday, God willing, he comes through and realizes how deluded and sick he sounded and finds something in his heart, and then he realizes, wow, Milo is actually a real person and not just a figment of my imagination.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything, and I think it's... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. I want to hear what you have to say.
I was going to say, I don't think it absolves Kanye to like acknowledge that there are things that are affecting his ability to make good decisions right now. I think that people view that as absolving as part of our larger celebrity culture, where we are always looking for, absolution for people who are like, stepping on marginalized populations. Is always supposed to be a good excuse for why Kanye does it. So to acknowledge that there's a reason, for some people seems like an excuse. But I think, this is something that people should really come to terms with, because it just shows you that a lot of these right-wing content creators, whether they are legitimate in their bigotry or illegitimate in bigotry, they don't care about you. They just want to use you to prop up their right-wing like YouTube account to get some money to like institute like some sort of white nationalist agenda, but they have no problem with stepping on their fans or vulnerable populations who even support their ideas to push themselves forward. We saw that when they turned over on January 6th people who they encouraged to go down there. We see that all the time. And at a certain point, people need to understand that these right wing, whether it's the Alex Joneses, the, Tim Pools out there, they don't have your best interests at heart. Whatever they're saying, they're doing it either because they actively believe the bigotry or they just have been in condition to find it to be monetarily advantageous to say this stuff. But neither of those mean good things for you, the viewer. And if you don't want to be part of this like Nazi agenda, either as like an active participant or the kind of like shield of willing, unwilling victims they surround themselves with, you need to be critical about getting these things off your airwaves, because it's just going to prey on more and more vulnerable people, because we know they prey on alienated people. We know they prey on mentally ill people online. It's just, they're not the only groups out there. We know the FBI does the same. So this is just a radical population that has been given, as part of a free speech agenda, like infinite access to people who have a lot of reasons to look to them for answers that they otherwise can't get anywhere else, even if they are bad answers.
I will say this though, like I agree with, obviously you have to mention the mental illness, the issues here with Kanye in the context. But then for me, there was all these reports that came out that this is someone who's harbored these beliefs for many years from people who were close to him, and that this isn't new. He just didn't express it publicly before. So that's why even apparently the normal Kanye that you all loved because he was a great artist, he apparently shared those views to his friends.
He's been mentally ill for a long time. And it doesn't absolve him. But caller, what was your other point?
Oh no, I was just gonna take the answers off air. I've never been a fan of Kanye West at all, so this is all just like washing over me.
I didn't mean you all, as in specifically the people I'm talking to now. I meant everybody listening to the show.
yeah. But, anyway.
All right. Well, empathy.
And I'm gonna hopefully call in on ESPN because I love soccer. I love football, real football, and I'm hoping that it's made a convert out of you. The combination of global politics and sports is a powerful one. I'd like to see how your thoughts have modified or changed over time. But I can do that on ESPN.
All right. Well, yeah. Call in. Well, we won't take calls today, but Monday we will, and maybe the U.S. will upset the Netherlands. Although, like,
they have a chance. Netherlands can't. They do not like to run.
I saw that the line was like only like minus 180 or something for the Netherlands, which I thought was fairly low. So maybe the odds makers think that the U.S. has more of a chance than others.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate it, Jero. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. That's the final call portion of our show. Bing, bing, bong. Bye. All right. We're going to read some IMs and get out of here unless you wanted to say something really quick, Brandon.
Oh, no. I was making a joke about the Dutch people.
Well, free speech is allowed here, so go for it.
I mean, now that Elon Musk owns Twitter, free speech, is allowed everywhere.
Yeah. Drew, also, me and some others believe Ye is getting all these guys with him because they're all in on Clandis Owens trying to get him to buy Parler. They may all get a cut. Mike goes to him right after the money changes hands and he ends up broke. There's no way there isn't another grift afoot other than association.
Do they need to?
Good thesis.
Do they need to do this to like make sure the Parler thing goes through?
Maybe. I mean, he's in talks, right?
Also, does Kanye even have the liquidity to buy Parler now? I mean,
he apparently has the liquidity to have a private jet to fly him to 5 different right-wing shows in 5 days.
But, that's true.
This is all coming out of like the Good Music. You got to imagine like the Good Music budget. This is like what Pusha T was working for. You hate to say it.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. When you reach a certain level of wealth, the people line up to give you credit and just let you spend whatever you want. And at the end of the day, if you never pay it back, you just file for bankruptcy and back on your high horse, and everyone will continue to treat you the same. I mean, we see this all the time. It's very hard for you to fail once you get to a certain level of wealth.
Yeah.
See, I think that's also what SBF was thinking, but that turns out to not be true in some instances if you alienate yourself from enough people.
If you screw over enough other wealthy people, they won't come to bail you out. Although I gotta say, it doesn't seem like that was SBF's mistake based on those investors saying they believe him. I think SBF's mistake was filing for bankruptcy, honestly. That is the one area where I think he's right. These rubes are literally coming out in public unwillingly acknowledging that they would have let SBF fleece them again. And he didn't think they existed in the numbers he needed, and apparently they do. So his mistake was not meeting these people before filing for bankruptcy.
I think ultimately there are worse things in the world than bankruptcy. And had they filed bankruptcy probably a little earlier, there'd be less, anger going on. I think the crypto industry more than anything gets itself into a lot of trouble with all these over leveraged bets. And then by the time they file bankruptcy, they have a $18 billion hole. And it turns out they only have like change under the cushions because the money was never real.
In this situation, his issue, along with the bankruptcy, is that he stepped down. Like we haven't mentioned as we've been talking, like SBF no longer represents or is part of FTX. In fact, the company, which is now head up by the guy who came in to clean up after Enron,
John Ray.
Yeah, he's come out and said this individual does not speak for FTX anymore. He has no power here. What is he like? Do not take what he's saying as statement about the company. He doesn't even have any authority over FTX anymore. He's speaking for a company he's basically tied to his identity to, which he actually no longer has any control over.